Madness can come for anybody at any time. You don't know when it might happen. It could happen now. It could happen later. It could happen yesterday. It could happen right now. Like Tuesdays. Hello, and welcome to Art with Mad Mel. I am the maddest artist on YouTube, probably, in the world. And I thank you for being here. Hopefully you'll enjoy my content that I create. It's a little bit unhinged, right? Ooh, I need to shave. I try to grow that beard thing that people do with faces, right? You know, these facial hair things. And it just doesn't seem to act right. For whatever reason, right? I don't know. Anyways, I hope you guys are in for a great show tonight. We are going to be working on these fantastic little buddies. If you are on the social media of mine, you may have seen this fellow here. Oh, from last time, right? And this one. Ooh, look at that. When it all falls down, there was only one person that led them all to changing their bodies, right? It's always got to be that one. Anyways, we're going to be working on these two. Yay! Creepy, goth-looking robots. Probably going to start with this guy here. Or girl, or... doesn't even have a... It's just a body. It's all that stuff. So, we're going to do that. We're going to turn on some music. If you guys have anything that you want to request talk or anything in the chat's open. Definitely click on that and let's see what's going on. So thank you, Skew and Demetra, for being here, and any of you that are watching that may not be signed in. So that's cool too. Enjoy the show. I think we're going to go on ahead and skedaddle over here and not waste any time. So let's move on. Flashbang time. Oh my. Look at that. So we're here. We're going to be up close and personal. We're going to be doing a lot with calligraphy ink again, right? I'm going to be dealing with that because this is just an all black and white piece. So I hope you guys are ready for this. We're going to be dealing with that. That's the medium that we're going to be using. Of course, I got my calligraphy pens and different things like that. Now, here's a little something. Since Skew, you're here today, I want to teach you a little bit about detail. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Like how to add the right type of detail and what you're looking for. Hopefully that doesn't saturate it too much. But I want to turn on some music so it soothes me into the madness. Here we go. Hope it ain't too loud. There we go. So first things first. When you're dealing with robots or robotics, and if you want to try to give it some type of look, you want to try to do panels, right? Because panels are really the thing that makes a robot a robot. Now, what I'm doing here, the panels are going to be a tad bit different. I'm thinking I want to take my jacket off because why would I want to get paint on my jacket? That's madness. And while I'm doing that, I'll explain a little bit here with this. So, the idea is less is more. Exactly like what I've been doing previously, right? And hopefully the music isn't too loud. Oh look, hey Josh, how you doing? Thank you for showing up. I want to be showing you guys a little bit about detail work, right? So first things first that we're going to do, I'm going to go first with more of a finer tip. As you can see, going back to the fine tip. Calligraphy pens, I'll just give you a quick rundown of this. You can get you a cheap set off of Amazon or whatnot. I'll do that at some point. I need to do that for you guys so you know what kind of tools I use. That was brought to my attention that might be a beneficial thing. You know, I'm down here in the underground. I'm dealing with the insane. Like, when do I have time for these things, right? So we're going to use the finer tip, real fine tip, and we're going to use this one to get started. Now the idea with this is that we don't want to go too far into the black area here of the painting. This is going to be like the basis of it, right? We won't want to lose this. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to accent on the outside. So everything is going to be an accent. Like even right here, we will just accent on the outside of it. Very close. Still got a lot of the black paint here, but it's just enough to give it a little bit of definition, like there's something extra there, but there's really not nothing there. Now this white paint has kind of had it I think it's about done. Oxidation with calligraphy ink is very, very troublesome. And what do I mean by that? Well, it kind of dries out fast, right? It loses moisture quick, and then it dries out, and therefore it gets cakey. So you gotta stir it a lot. You gotta make sure when you're using it, you gotta make sure that it's closed up too. There are other ways around trying to fix that, but the main thing is trying to get that line, right? And as you see there, I got the definition of kind of the chest, and then we can just add a little bit here for like the arm. And what you want to do for panels, you know, I always say that circuitry panels and robotics are not straight. There are no straight lines. It's all curved lines. Everything is kind of coupled. So you're always going to have a coupler, which is going to be a joint point, right? So right there, that's kind of a joint point. Ah, man. Why did you have to act silly today? I might have to just scrap this. It may have had too much oxygen got to it, because I kind of, like I always say, don't neglect your tools, you know? So I think this might be caked up. Pause. Not like that, right? No, it's not thick in a good way, you know? Oh boy, there it goes. Oh man. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put a dollop of daisy in here, right? But it's not really daisy. So, well, what do you mean by that? That's an old commercial, right? Commercials, things that used to like what you get on here. Hopefully nobody's getting any commercials, which I realize this channel gets monetized when it does, because I'm sure it will. We're gonna have commercials, and that's gonna suck, you know. Now, here's the difference. This is fresh, right? Freshly poured in there. Oh, look at that. Crisp, bright, not faded. There's slight difference in having fresh in comparison to what's been sitting up and old. Always make sure that your tools are working properly, and make sure that your ink and stuff is not dried out, because you don't want it to look sloppy, right? Just like writing with a calligraphy pen, you know, you want to make sure that you get enough. You want to make sure that it's not dried out, you know, and it's okay with, especially with white calligraphy, you have to kind of put a little bit in there, right? So hopefully that makes a little sense. But as you can see here with the chest, still a lot of the outside, and I wanted that still there so that way it looks roughed out, right? So we can come back and hit it with the back accent. Does that make sense? A little bit? Hopefully it does. And feel free to ask questions, guys. I really do appreciate you asking questions if you want to find out what's going on. There's no such thing as a bad question, right? If anybody ever says that there's a bad question, they're dumb. Don't listen to that person. They ever say that's a stupid question, don't ask that. That person's an idiot. You shouldn't listen to them. They would tell you to stay in a burning building. Don't listen to those type of people. Those people are full of no behavior, and you should watch out for them. That's my PCA for today. Public PSA. PSA. That's right. PCA. As you see here, I'm just making small dashes and panels right here, so it looks a little bit rougher than usual, right? Most robots are very like linear boxed and all that, but have fun with whatever you're doing. You know, make it your own. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Making your art your own. You know, and I'm showing little things here because I feel like I should, you know, that's something I want to do. But anything that I'm doing that you're inspired with, make it your own, you know? And anything that you see that somebody's doing, if you're wanting to be inspired by art and want to do it, and it's like, man, I don't know, I can't do what he's doing or what that person's doing. Believe me, I run across that a lot. But just make it your own. Do your own thing, you know? What's the harm in doing something that you enjoy? Because at the end of the day, when it comes all the way down to the nitty and the gritty, well, you're the one that's the artist, or the one that wants to be the hobbyist, or whatever the case may be. Look at that. Now you see it, right? Just a little white accent. Now the thing with this type of ink, you have to let it set. You can't be a bully and just beat it with a club like, get on the canvas, get on the paper. Paper's a little bit different. It settles in paper differently. Canvases have pores. We've been over that, but I'll go over it again. The difference between a canvas and a piece of paper is a canvas like this one here, so I can give you an idea. This one here is very rough. It's coarse, right? Where a piece of paper, which would be like the back of this canvas, is very smooth. So there's a difference. Ink has to saturate into the little divots. That's the reason why we use gesso. And paper, you don't need to because it's paper, right? So there. Now I gave you guys a little lesson. I did my due diligence. Now I'm going to go run out in the street and scream as loud as I can at a bunch of cans, right? So the main focus, I would say, was robotics that I've seen, or that I do, is I always like to make sure that they have three things. You know, it's a panel of some sort. It doesn't have to always be straight, so that's one. Two, make sure that it makes sense. You know, if you're going to do it, make sure it makes sense and it lines up with other stuff, so that way it's not perspectively crazy. Especially if it's something that you're going to try to do, like a comic or a little short story or whatever the case. If you have to multiple draw it, make sure you make it simple enough or complex enough, depending on what you want to do. You know, you got to figure that part out. And yeah, I would say probably the third one is I mean, you always got to have fun. I mean, you know, you just got to enjoy what you're doing and don't rush. You know, rushing is a big problem with art. Rushing is a big problem. So sometimes we feel like I ain't got enough time. I feel like that all the time. I feel like there's no time because I live in a world without any time, because I live in a pocket dimension, because I'm not real, right? I'm a figment of your imagination. You're the one that's mad. I'm not even here. I'm not even talking right now. This ain't even happening. No, I'm messing with you guys. I had a good day. I had a good day today. You know, got hydrated. How many of you guys are hydrated? Let me ask that question. Now we're going to switch up because this one is starting to act silly. Now, know your tools, right? When you're using this is more for paper. And just because it's fine tip, but I like to get a crisp edge. This one's a little bit flatter. This one can handle it a little bit better. Now, it might look like just shiny mess to you, but there is a difference. It's a little bit knobbed off, where this one is a little bit sharper, right? There we go. Pointed, nubbed, right? You know, there's a little difference. So, and you'll see the difference in the actual work. So, this will give thicker lines, right? For what we really need. So, would you guys like to know the backstory to this? Because I'm sure somebody wants to know, Mel, what is this about? What is this art about? But I wanna hear you ask the question. Who's gonna be the one who wants to know? I need a yes. And see, that's how we do things here. We're full of yes and no. So, if you're full of no behavior, we don't really put up with that. Oh, what's no behavior? You'll find out. You know. But we do like yes. And what's yes? Oh, well, like the movie Yes Man? No, it's a little bit different than that. It's a more of a positive mindset. You know, it's more of a open-minded, artistic look. Gaining your creativity back. That's my message to you, is embrace the madness. Right? What does embrace the madness mean? Embrace the madness. Embrace your madness. What makes you mad? What makes you tick? What makes you laugh? What is your madness? What drives you mad? What do you want to express? Let that be the fuel of your fire. That's it. Embrace your madness. And that's what I'm trying to show you here. Everybody can have fun doing whatever they want to do. And you know, a lot of people show that in the Discord, which I changed a couple of things, so now if you join, unfortunately, you got to be careful, because you know, people want to be silly, but I'm going to throw it up real quick. So, one sec. Here we go. It's good for a few days, so if you click on it, you can get there. But, you know, there's a little bit of verification. If you're already in the asylum, you don't have to worry about it, right? But we like to share our art, we like to share our work, right? And promote, you know, each other. Try to be positive, because there's so many people that want to kick other artists down, you know. So why do what everybody else is doing? I guess do something different, right? So I know it's maddening, isn't it? It's kind of mad. There you go. There it is, pinned up at the top. If you're on PC or if you're on your phone, yes. Well, so understanding what's going on in this world is, think of the backstory is humanity reached a point where it just could not sustain what it thought it was going to become. They exceeded past their limits of what they believed is flesh being the anchor of progress. So they decided to embrace their madness and join with machine. But Mel, that sounds like reality. I mean, art imitates reality, right? But here's the dark side of it. When man merges with metal, then metal destroys creation. And this is where it shows that decadence comes in the death of the planet. Everything is cold steel and dark and gray, dismal, disconnected. But it lives forever, marching through the wasteland of what used to be, what once was, what could have been, all things that have purpose and meaning but cannot be touched and felt because you're a machine and you don't have the ability to understand anymore. Yeah, I thought it would be a neat concept. And then also I was really enjoying doing black and white work because, you know, it takes a lot more training, and I wanted to train myself of working with absent space, making things out of nothing. It's a shape there and everything there. I just made all that. I had no actual way of what was I doing. Same thing here. And let me show you. This is a perfect example of how does this work. And I'm glad that we have a teachable moment. So you have this object here. What do I want to do? What's the first thing that you want to do? Well, first thing we want to do is we want to make sure where do we want to start. So that's going to be a coupler, and then here we go. There's the wires, and then there's a wire, and then there's a wire. So we have that. Okay. Now, what's wrong with this? Is it damaged? Does it have blown up? So the first thing I want to do is, okay, so we're going to just, you know, give it a little bit of shape, kind of similar to this one here, you know, and then we construct it from here. I think damaged, right? Because it looks a little beat up there. And then we'll go here, and then we'll just give a little offset line. And I'm just tracing on the outside shadow, right? So I'm just hitting that outside shadow, but it's just enough to give it that weird separation again. You know, the contrast. And then it's going to make it pull forward as you see it stands out more, right? Now, from here, it's just basically, what do I want to do? I could do a circle, and that would make sense, right? Coupler, right? I can make a little square, right? Well, what if I made a little square here? Okay, so that looks like a jointed piece, correct? I could take a line here and just pull it there. It looks like a wire. Does that make sense, Skew? Like, that's how some definition works. You find what you see and what you want to do there, and you just play around with it. Now, if there's other things, and that goes for any character, you know, like, what do I want for his hair, or what do I want them to wear, or what outfit, or what scenario, or any of that. You know, it's the same thing with making a character, creating a scene, doing a picture, you know, for yourself or a client, whatever the case is, however you're doing it, you know, you have to have that. It's kind of like mapping, I guess. But if you're able to master that skill like what I have done, being able to eyeball and figure out what you want to do on the fly makes your art unpredictable and different, you know. And that's the best part of having something that's a little bit different than what other people are doing. And the song is so damn long. I forget it every time. I like it, but then I'm like, good God. How far am I into that damn song? So there. So now you see it's all settled, right? Now from here, this is where I'm going to have to add more. Once you have lined out, and what I'm doing here, you want to find a spot that you want to darken it, because this, yet again, is going to fade out, right? We saw it the whole time I've been working here has been fading out. And in person, it's a little bit different, you know? There we go. Yeah, it's kind of sexy looking. I think that's looking pretty sexy. I don't know about you guys. I think that's looking a little, as someone said when I shared it on, I believe it was either Facebook or Instagram, it looks like a Borg. Yeah, I can see that. Oh yeah. Come here. There we are. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yuck. Damn, that's crazy. So, as you can see, I need it to, there's a lot of paint there. And we'll just do that, right? How much time have we spent on this? About 30 minutes. I think not bad for 30 minutes. Yeah, that's somewhat decent, I think. There we are. Alright. Ooh. Okay. Not bad. So the static that I was trying to do didn't work out the way I thought it would, but that doesn't mean I can't keep trying. Ah, there it is. There we go. Alright, so there's one. I'll probably do some more detail because I'm going to do another one, right? But let's take a look at that so far. It's not too bad, huh? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. Once it dries up, it'll look a lot better. Yeah, cool. So, and here's the one that I was enjoying today. I started off just doing a little bit, but then I got, as you can see, I got wild in here with it. So, you guys are in luck because we're going to do a little bit back here. I'll work on this. I'll move that out of the way and move this out of the way. So what do you guys want to talk about tonight? If anybody got anything that they want to, any questions or anything you might want to ask or say now. This one is acting silly. Ah, there you go. Alright, so where did I leave off? Oh yeah, right here. This is where I left off. So, as you can see here, there's all these nodules and stuff all over the place, right? So, you know, it's just, where do you think, like here, for example, how do you make a rock? What would you do, Mel? Like, you know, this whole situation, how do you know where you're going to put anything? That's a question, you know? So where would I put it? All right, so let's see here. That looks wavy, and this looks wavy by just the way that the gray looks, right? You can see the difference in the color tone, and I'll show you up here. As you can see here, once the camera adjusts, there's like a slight difference in tone between these two, and you can slightly see it. The light saturation is probably not helping this situation, because I know a lot of you might be like, I don't see shit, Mel. What are you talking about? But there's slight difference in darkness here and in darkness here. So there's darkness in this area and darkness here, but all here is light or gray. And you might see that. So in that, I see like this little wave mark here and a little wave mark here. Well, just like the other day or on Sunday stream, how do you make definition, you know, with certain things, or back to that conversation? You know, you just make little dash squiggly lines, and then once you get in there, you can kind of define it. So you're kind of just tapping to get kind of a telegraph of like, oh, I'm going to do something over here, you know, and then you kind of got it, and then you can go back through, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'll do a little that, and then I'll put a, you know, put something here, and then I might do something like that to a door hatch to this to being something like that, right? And it all just leads into each other. Once you start getting a flow and start seeing it, then it becomes a little bit easier. Or the madness will take over, and then you'll just scream into the void, and that's also acceptable as well. That is yes behavior also. Yes behavior. Do not be afraid of the yes. Now, over here, what do you see over here? This perfect example. Okay, what can we do over here? Let's see. We can do this. And then we do a little bit here. And then a little bit there. And then there we go. Yeah, it just, you know, all looks like organic mess. There we are. And see, how are zombies made and or turned? Okay, how are they made or turned? Good question. Okay, so here are the two things about becoming a zombie that I would probably say, in my opinion, are the closest to being reality. Okay, viral mutation, like Resident Evil, right? Or accelerated rabies. Both of which are bioweapons. Let's keep that in mind. There is no such thing as being a zombie without it being some form of mutation and or manipulation by man. You know? Because both of which, man didn't really make that. Nature made rabies, right? Rabid virus. I think man didn't make that. But if man made it, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, I have to ask the mad doctor that about that one. You know. But definitely, rabies. Rabies, I think, will probably be the best one because it makes your brain swell, and then you wouldn't be able to function properly, and then you would go crazy. Yeah, I would say rabies is probably the best case. Someone weaponizes that by turning it into a virus and then releasing it, which then turns people rabid, and then they lose their mind and start chewing on people, and then everything goes bad, you know? Or in some cases, you know, if you spent a fortune on zombie preparation, maybe now's your time to shine. So shit, hey, you got your dream date, right? Because there are some people who just live for that. Just live for it, you know? I don't know. I don't want all that stress, but you know, whatever. I ain't even from this planet, right? So, I mean, whoops, said that out loud. The doctor told me don't do that too much. That one was fun. So, another thing I do too, I don't scribble. It looks like I scribble, but what I do is I do micro circles, right? And I'll show you. Scribbling does a lot of this, right? You zigzagging and everything, right? But if you micro circle, it looks like it, but I'm covering more surface area. Small, consistent, round circles moving, overlapping itself. Evenly dispenses the ink. And it also does that with paint, too, or any other thing that you're doing, digitally as well. If you are a digital artist or inspiring to be a digital artist, that helps, too. Keeps a lot of mess down, because if you're doing this, you can wear out your nib, which is this, which are these, right? You can wear that out, or you can scuff and make a mistake, and that's a no behavior offense. And then you're going to have to go see Dr. Smiles or Mr. Smiles. He's not a doctor. He kept calling himself doctor the other day. Confusing, man. He's strange if you want to see something strange. Oh, yeah, there we go. Look at that. There we are. Alright, there. Okay. Huh. Look at that. Damn, that's confusing as I don't know what. But I like it. Why not listen to the Turbo Chat song? Here we go. as you are seeing this, now you see where a lot of the white outline will go and what purpose is going to serve here in a minute, right? Because now I kind of explained it, so now you kind of have an idea of where it might go, what might be going on, right? So now we have to I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell this one. It is very active. Thank you. Yes, I intended it to be very, very an active piece. I wanted him to be like a master of like the machinery. Kind of like everybody gave, like he's the one, or this is like the overlord or something. You know, kind of like the dominant force over the... You know, nobody ever can control the things that they set out to control, that they don't have power to control. Like, I don't know. AI is something that we can't control. Like, this is kind of definition of irony. It's like they gave up their bodies, but yes, now it's another form of control. Hey man, it sounds like the Matrix. I didn't ask for all this. I didn't want to think. Nah, not saying you have to. Just what I was thinking. My mind went into a weird place. I've been reading about robots and robots. You know, I like robots. I do. I like robotics, and it's a thing I enjoy. And it also terrifies the living hell out of me. So, you know, hey, you know, enjoy what makes you scared. Might as well, right? There we go. Why would robots would you terminate a person? No, not necessarily that. It always had a thought from especially what I've seen the Mad Doctor do downstairs. You know, room 44. We don't do anything in there. We stay out of there. I can go in there. I choose not to, but I can. That's where we made. That's where all the crazy things happen. Got a report about it. I might share that. I share the reports from the facility in our Discord. I'm trying to make new channels in case if I disappear that they know what happened to me here, because you know, these anomalous things in the you know, the bottom section of the madhouse is something else. There we go. That looks good. All right, now what we're going to do is leave that mask exactly that, solid white. I might touch it up later, but for this, we're going to do the thing that we did earlier. I'm going to go back in here, fine tip, and this is going to work better for this because I want to use this for the hands and all the little things, right? It is going to be so hard trying to part with this. I might not get rid of this one. This one might be part of my personal collection. Oh. Oh, that's a long song. That's 6 minutes. Nope. Oh, that's gnarly. What is all that stuff around the alien? Oh, that's a machine. That's a machine. I mean, I guess you could call it an alien. I mean, it's basically you, me, and every other human being on the face of this planet after we give up our bodies for transcendence and immortality. And then we destroy the planet because it takes a lot to industrialize the earth to be able to have machine bodies. Everything has to rely on power and manufacturing, and yeah, so, you know, in doing so, we destroyed the planet. Even more than if we would have just stayed human. Kind of the irony of it. I wanted it to be somewhat ironic that it's technologically advanced to the point that everybody will live forever and have these mechanical bodies, but everything's desolate and destroyed because they killed it. All wildlife is dead. All that stuff. I have, you know, I thought about it, and it just is something that fascinates me. It's like living forever is a different type of hell. You know, at least to me it is. That's what I would think. Hell, I mean, we got a couple of immortals in the facility. Actually, we got Mr. Sloth is vampire. I think Skew's a vampire. I mean, we got a couple of people in here that aren't fully human. So I mean, you know, but you know, I haven't forgot about drawing everybody's picture. You know, I just had an opportunity for an event, and I'm like, oh boy, another opportunity. You know, this is a year of great growth, if you allow it to be. What do you mean by that? You might be thinking, God, you're on drugs. You're crazy. You're insane. Well, distraction is a very powerful tool if you know how it works and what to and not to be concerned with. And, you know, if you allow yourself to be able to learn new things in the midst of crazy things, well, you know, knowledge is always going to be power. Knowledge always beats power. So, the most powerful thing is to learn something and be knowledgeable of something. And that was my motivational message for today. Good luck to you. Oh, and another thing, whenever you shower, make sure that you keep your mouth closed if you're staring at the shower head. I don't know why I need to say that, but I feel like I just saved your life tonight. So, you're welcome. I hope you live a long, fruitful life. Alright, there we go. You know, sometimes it's like, man, I need a finer tipped item than this. And when that comes, it's always good to have acrylic marker pens. These are always good. Now, I used to have those other ones, but these have a more of a felt kind of tip, kind of a paint tip. Very careful with this if you decide to go this route. Not really mixing two different mediums, but it's going to look different because the white is a little bit off, and it will turn it to a slight gray, but that's okay though, you know, especially in a situation like this where, you know, you're almost teetering on that fine line. And always remember, there's no such thing as a mess up, just like even Bob Ross said, happy little accidents. There's no such thing as a mess up. The only thing you have to do is if you find something or if you feel like you did, just find your way to reverse it. And it's not hard to do that. Just the key thing, don't panic. Panicking is no behavior. You just chill out, take a minute, think about it, look where the mistake is at, and then give it some time. The thing with paintings is this: you can always come back to it. In digital work, well, you know, digital work, you can always make a copy and save it. I'm eating some matcha green tea flavored ice cream. That's good. Matcha's pretty good. I haven't had any matcha in a while. I think I overdid it the last time I had matcha. I think I had a little bit too much. You know, anything, like I overdid it with green tea when I was younger. Anything in excess. But that's good though. Matcha tea is good. I like matcha. Let's go, Team Matcha. There we go. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Silly stuff. Alright, let's see here. Ooh, that's nasty looking. I like that. Ah, there it is. Cool. So, we got... Let's take a look here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Actually, let me get rid of that. There we go. That's better. Yeah, look at that. There you go. So as you see, as we add the white to it, it kind of makes it a little bit better. Kind of defines it, gives it a little bit of some depth to it, right? So and we're going to add some more. Main thing I'm trying to do is just add detail. So I'm not trying to do anything overly major. I'm just adding detail to it so it makes it look like it's a panel, or it makes it look like what it's supposed to be. There we go. Well, now you need some of the thinner. Now you can use water, but water doesn't really cut it. So what you want is acrylic paint thinner. Now it's not like paint thinner, but it's basically thinner. Or you can use diluted rubbing alcohol. It breaks down the ink. Basically, that's the main thing that you're trying to do, is break it up, so that way you can actually clean it as it gets in the crevice, and then you can just clean it, kind of separate it, get all the gunk out, and then you can go right back to it after you dip it in some water and wash off the residue, because to be honest with you, it doesn't look pretty, and it looks all weird if rubbing alcohol gets mixed in with it. For whatever reason, I don't know. It's kind of strange, but cool. So let's see here. We got mostly everything ready to go there. I want to try this one. Okay. I think we're going to have to go for a brush, an actual brush. But I'm not going to just use any old brush, right? Maybe it's a little bit finer tip one. There we are. Ah, you got too soupy. See, that's another thing too if you thin it out too much. There you go. Now we cleared it up. And what was the other thing I was gonna do right here? Now, I know why you might be like, why did you do that? See, I wanted it to have that milky membrane look to it. And that's the only way to get that is to basically do what I did, right? So it looks like that, and then once it dries, then I can manipulate it and it'll look almost like something else, right? Nice. All right. Cool. I wonder what the next song is going to be. I wonder is it going to be something wild, something low key, because the thing is about to change. Yep. And I want to make sure we still got ink in this pen. We're still rocking and rolling. Probably going to have to refill it, but. Okay. Whew. Alright. Yeah, I like that. That came out well. Yeah, that was cool. Alright, so we got 30 more minutes. So what do you guys want to learn? Anybody want to learn something? There you go. I'll let you guys look at that. I'm going to show you something if you want to learn something. I'm going to let this dry because it's still kind of wet. Or, actually, let me show you all 4 of them. Now, since we got practically almost all of them done, let's go ahead and clean up our area real quick. Alright, don't leave your area messy, or you'll have accidents. Not the happy sort either. The kind that'll make you say, oh man, and some choice words and throw things. So, don't want to do that. Alright. Now, we got practically all of them. We're going to leave old cowboy up there, and then we're going to put you here. Right. We got that one here. Alright, so we'll pull these 2 down, and then you kind of get a chance to see those. And then we got that one there, and then this one here, right? Sort of like that. You know, kind of give you an idea. So that's ultimately what they look like. All 4 of them. I'm gonna do something with the background with this one though, and then I will make a face on this one once I get its whole situation done. But I like them. I don't know about you guys, but I think they're pretty neat. I like them. I think they're pretty cool. You know, little dark, little futuristic, kind of dystopian. But I'll show you something else. Now, do you guys want to learn something, or do you want to see me do another picture? Because I can either do the black and white canvas, which is literally all black ink and nothing else, or I can show you guys something. The first person in the chat, let me know what you want to see. And that's going to take a minute because you know how it is. So we'll see if the next song will come up. Oh. There we go. Let me get my sketchbook just in case. There we go. All right. So here's the other 3 that I'm working on too, in conjunction with that. So there's that. There's that one. And there's that one. Fun stuff, yes. So, it's like, what's wrong with Mel's mind? I have gone crazy. Yes, I have gone fully mad. Let's see, do you see something? Oh boy. Yeah. This angle? What do you guys think? This angle? Okay, so we'll say 1, 2, 3, right? Or 4. Which one? Which way? Which way do you guys think? I'm thinking 1. 1 is what is kind of piquing my interest. 'Cause I saw something there, but you know, that's just me. I saw something that's that's here that I could do. But yet again, I also see something here that I could do. So there's maybe two different options. It just really depends. So I'll let somebody, one of the mad ones in the chat, pick what we're going to do with this. So 1, 2, 3, or 4, which one? That's the fate of this canvas. Or sketch. I want to give you a few minutes. Learn? Okay, what do you want to learn? What do you want to learn? I can teach you something. Let's see. I'm ready. Make sure this is ready. Alright, so let's see. We've done perspective. We've done detail. Is there anything in particular that you want to learn, Skill? Anything in particular that you would like me to show you? Or that you're interested in learning? Let's see. I'm trying to think. We did perspective. I don't know. Did you get a chance to see the perspective? What's going on with that? How that will work? Or would you like me to go over that again? I'll give you a minute to type. Man. Actually, some water would be good, too. I tell you what, we'll do top-down perspective real quick. We'll do that. Yeah, top-down's good. I'll keep an eye on the chat and see if there's anything else. So we'll say, we'll start off in this area here, right? So we did this last time, like your horizon line, like where everything is going to start, right? So if you want to, you can. What if you're going to go down? Well, you know, same thing with your horizon line. You want to figure out where your main point's going to be. So downwards perspective is literally this line here, and this line is going to the bottom focal point, right? So you're going to the bottom focal point, which is like here, right? And then from here you can basically decide however the room's going to go. Now most of the time you would have like grid or gridded lines, but if you wanted to, you can make the room or the situation like this. See, that's where you would get that long perspective, right? So that long shot perspective that you usually see in most like dynamic shots in comic books, because usually it looks something like this, like, you know, you'll have that and then the wood would come down here and something like that, right? Or if it was buildings, you know, the perspective is still here, but if it's like facing down, like I said, so like say this was just a small hallway, right? There we go. Small, elongated hallway down here, right? So your still focal point is still facing down, because you know you can basically make anything, you know, down in an angle, if that makes sense. It's still, you know, you can still make sense of it, how it's angled. So you still got the shot, or if you wanted to have something different, we'll just kind of, there we go. Just section that off, right? So let's say, for example, we're down here. You want to have down here, right? So to have a more top down, like if we're looking straight down, so you're going to have to figure out where the focal point is going to be. So your mid-ground, foreground, like here's your, we'll do this again. And I'll get some gridded paper, or I'll just show you on digital, but basically you would have the background, and then wherever your mid-ground will be, your mid-ground is going to be the back of the head, basically. So where you normally would have them facing this way, like, you know, here's the head and then there's the legs, you know, like in that angle. In this instance, it would be like, here's the head you know, like there would be your head, right? And then the perspective is still like, you can change it from here, like it would, instead of it being here, you can draw it down more, like say it's like here, right? And then you can elongate the room. You see? Like if there was somebody standing here, right? I'm just giving a feel in it for, like, you know, a body or something, like if you were in a long shot. And then the same thing from here, it would draw the eye down, right? And that's all that you're doing, is you're doing a vector, like a V shape, and that's where you're going to hit the apex, your apex line here. So it's basically the same situation. You would come up, and then from this point you would find another point. You know, you could either go all the way up, or if you're in a panel, you don't want to go all the way out of it. But say if you're here, you want to make more depth, right? Then the next thing is, where would be your next spot, right? So you would start here. This would be your plane. So this would be your mid, and then next thing you know, this will be your back, right? And then you would just, same situation, draw down, and then you would draw down, like, you know. And then as you keep doing this, you just keep folding it over, you know, and then that will bank out, and then this down here would try to lift up here, right? And then you would proceed. As you get further down, the perspective is going to get to a narrow point where you don't even have to do anything, right? You can just literally do a simple little mark here, and then a little dash, and then a bump, and then boom, boom, and then there you go. Like it fades off into infinity, and then you just literally could just draw another line up here, and then another line here, and then they all just, you know, it all connects, and it comes back up to the panel, and you know, it can just lead same damn thing back here. Boom, there you are. Now you're going down. So it's all about where, think of like where you're looking. There's no problem putting a head where you want it. You know, I do that sometimes. Other people do different stuff. I mean, you can do like the T, like, okay, I'm going from, and I'll do that up here. Like, okay, I got my head is the circle, so that's X, and then let's say we want to go which direction. So I want to go, let's see, I want to go down towards myself, far away, right? Like narrow perspective. So my horizon line where I'm going to go is back here, right? So everything's going to draw down, and then that's mid-ground, and then foreground is literally right here. Foreground is everything from this point. So man's here, you know, we'll just have him say, hi, hey, how you doing? And I know someone might be like, oh my god, he's not doing the bubbles, he's not doing all that. Stick figures are perfectly fine. Stick figures are fine. We've been using stick figures since cavemen, right? And we all understood what they were talking about then. So there's man right there, okay? So this one's a little bit harder, and this takes time, right? This takes time. Sometimes I get this wrong, just depending on what I'm doing, and I don't do this often as much as I should, which is an exercise that I should start doing more. You guys can do it too. So the man's here, right? And let's say that there's a long alley or something, right? Like it would basically be here, right? And like that's all the way back down there, you know. And then from here you could have something like, I don't know, it could be something like this, you know, like a big old something, boom, you know, whatever. That's the foreground, right? You got that, and then there he is, and then everything in here, because you know is leading down, so things will start getting, you know, smaller, further away, but you know, like, oh, there's a basket, and there's a building, and then there's another building, and then, you know, it just keeps, and then from this point, yet again, then that's when you lead up here, and then you lead up here. As you see, it would keep extending back. Hey, Vosto, how you doing? I hope you are having a good time. I am. I'm actually teaching perspective, like leading back, going forward, long shot, you know, or if you want to extend something down, like for example, I'll give you a quick one, right? Like, let's see. Let's see here. Like you could do, for example, you see, like that. Does that make sense? How that's like drawing back a little bit further, you know? So you kind of get the idea of how you can lead back that way. And then from here, if you wanted to, he could be right at the edge of something else, like, oh, I don't know. Oh boy, what's happening here? Boom, right? Oh boy, bam. And then we got boom. And then we go all the way back up here, right? With a hard crevice right there, right? And then we go, oh my gosh, oh boy, where's this? Oblivion. All the way down here to who knows what, right? Now it drops off. Let's push this up. Now the perspective has all changed, right? From one specific area. You got two different perspectives hitting at the same exact time. And that's where you can have one focal point can be the point of two different perspectives. Everything is going, you have a long shot back. So you have back here, right? You have here. You have the longer angle, right? Because at the end of the day, you got this arm here, you got this body here, right? You know. And see, that's all you got to do, really, just to change it up, right? So it doesn't have to be boring. You know, simple little fireball mess, right? You know, same old story, same old song and dance, someone messing around, and then you can just do your little simple, oh boy, you know, magical beam, right? And then you can just lead into boom, right? Oh boy, you missed everything, right? You know, so you get the idea, right? Like, I don't have to go into a long expression with it, but you get the idea of what you can do, right? I'm not gonna... You've seen what I've been able to do. And this is what I'm gonna show you guys, what you can do. Now, mind you, what did I do here differently than anything anybody else has done? I use stick figures, right? But you get the idea that there's something back here. And these are basically mountains or whatever the case is, but you can see the perspective coming down. You can see the perspective here, that whatever's going on in this area is perfectly fine. Then you can change it and you can do whatever you want to down here. Remember, you just have to have a base point, and then you can go to whatever other point, because all points connect to each other if you already have a basis. So you got to start somewhere. Pick a point. Where do you want to go? You want to go that way? You want to go down this way? You know, once you find your angle, then you can manipulate it any way you want to. And like I said, you can do it any way you want to, because that's a stick figure there. So what difference does it make with, oh, I can't do it. Anybody can do it. Like I said, anybody can do art. Anyways, it's that time. And you know what that means. Bye, Techno Machine. Oh boy, look at that. Man, we did a lot of stuff tonight. I think we had a pretty good show. I enjoyed myself. Well, anyways, I hope I had a whole bunch of ink on my hands, and I thought I got on my tie, and I was about to say that's no behavior, but I didn't. So, I hope you all learned something. Hopefully it was beneficial. Share this with your friends if you want to. Or if you don't, and you think that it's not mad enough, let me know. Put something, a comment or anything like that. Also, thank you, Demetria. Thank you. I'm glad that it was a good show. I thank you all for being here. Definitely saw some old friends that your jackets have been sitting there for a while getting dusty. Don't forget to put your hut coat on. I'm glad that you guys came by. And the new ones, I hope you subscribe and you join the flock, because we're all mad down here in the madhouse. Anyways, you know what time it is. It's time to get out of here, so I will see you later. Oh, motivational word of the day. Yes, that's it. You can't take care of anyone else if you cannot take care of yourself. Self-care is the best thing you can do for yourself. So, take care of yourself. Just a little bit. you know, just do something a little bit better for yourself. Be it if it's something you eat, something you drink, or a habit. I have bad habits too. I like to mess with the plutonium and all that fun stuff, and splicing genes and electrical shock therapy, but in moderation, right? Everything in moderation. Anyways, I hope that helps somebody, and if not, we got a hug code for you, and you're more than welcome. Anyways, I'm out of here. See you next time. Bye!